What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Splitgate 2 developer holds another round of layoffs. This is not a repeat. This is new news that happened from, I think, like a month ago. They laid off people, or 2 weeks ago, and now they're laying off more people. So we're talking about Splitgate 2 yet again. We're going to talk about... Uh-oh, what happened to this one? Oh, there it is. So we're talking about Forza... We talked about this yesterday, right? We talked about this yesterday, which I thought was weird. Okay, now this is not actually a news article. This is someone's personal, like, newsletter they sent out or whatever. I saw it, I think I saw it on Twitter. So it says, Forza Horizon 5 is now 2025's top-selling new PlayStation 5 game, racing past copies sold for huge first-party PlayStation titles. Now, I just find it weird that we talked about this yesterday, and then all of a sudden there was someone else that made an article about it. So, kind of go through that. I saw a chart yesterday, and I haven't read the full article, so we'll talk about that as well. And then we're going to talk about ZeniMax staff blindsided by Microsoft layoffs. So we'll talk about that as well. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All the music that you heard in the beginning of the show, if you're new here, is songs that I've written but made with AI. So if you guys like it, I know AI, everyone's like, oh. But if you like to support the channel, it's just another fun way that it's good music, right, to listen in the background while you're working, cutting the lawn, doing homework, just have it in the background, whatever. So another way to support us is to stream that, download it, buy it, whatever. I appreciate it very much. Make sure you check our other channels out as well. We do Nerding with 30, which talks about entertainment news and whatnot. We have Judge Dredd, Taika Waititi talk going on over there. We have Why I Don't Like Pedro Pascal over there. We have the Superman box office, the way I think it's going to happen with it. So we talk about those types of topics. We have 30 and Still Gaming, which is the gaming channel that we do in the evenings. We've been playing some RoboCop, Rogue City, Unfinished Business the last 2 nights. And then we have this morning show that we do podcasts and whatnot. So lots of different content here, and I appreciate you very much for giving me any kind of amount of time that you guys do. So I appreciate that. All right, what's going on? What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Eclipse? Sarge, good morning. Let me scroll down. Who else is here? Roic, good morning. Jason, good morning. Robert Jones, good morning. Kylo Green, good morning. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about first? You guys want to talk about the ZeniMax staff blindsided? Do you want to talk about Splitgate 2? Or do you want to talk about the Forza Horizon 5 being the top-selling game of PlayStation 5 this year? Let me know what you guys want to talk about first. You guys talk about XCOM. I miss XCOM, man. Ron says, good morning, Ron. Says, good old layoffs. Robert Jones says, Splitgate. Let's talk about Splitgate. All right. I have no problem talking about Split. Which one do we want to talk about first? There's 2 things about Splitgate. Yeah, there's a letter by Splitgate, and then there's Splitgate about the layoffs. Jason says Splitgate back to the beta. All right, so let's talk about Splitgate. Okay, we did a video, or I should say, a morning show. We talked about Splitgate right when he got off the stage, basically on that Monday. We talked about him wearing the hat, him apologizing for the hat. I said that, you know, they abandoned their first game to make their second game. Their second game is egregious microtransactions in it. Then a couple weeks after that, they had some first original layoffs that they were doing. And then they talked about how they were taking no money. The heads of the studios weren't taking a salary. And I said this game is pretty much done, right? Pretty much done. Here's what Splitgate, let me refresh this just so we have an accurate number. Okay, so it doesn't matter what business you are, and I know someone's going to be like, well, this is just Steam 30. This doesn't represent everyone. There's a bunch of people playing it. There's so many people playing it. That's why the game's closing down and going back to beta, right? They're going back to beta because there's so many people that are enjoying it, playing for free on the consoles and Steam. So anyway, Steam numbers were at 25,674, and then since then, it's never never hit that again. It goes all the way down to the cap of 1,282. Okay, and that's where we're at right now. All right, so let's talk about this. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Splitgate 2 developer holds another round of layoffs. They're holding. Anybody volunteer? Anybody want to come in? We're holding layoffs again. Okay. Splitgate 2 developer 1047 Games is facing layoffs again. This time to help the game return to the drawing board. When you can we just say you shouldn't have launched it to begin with. You shouldn't have launched it to begin with because first impressions are everything. And your first impressions of Splitgate was Splitgate 1, which you had a big following of Splitgate 1. But they said, you know what? We screwed up with Splitgate 1 because we couldn't charge the amount of microtransactions we wanted to. So let's close this down. Let's stop supporting this. Let's never, ever move this from beta. Let's work on Splitgate 2. Come out. We're going to be better. We're going to be the best. We're going to be the number one. We're going to bring back what Call of Duty used to be. And all they brought was the microtransactions with them. For those wondering, in a lengthy new statement, 1047 Games announced that Splitgate 2 is going back to beta. To rework major parts of the game, this includes reworking progression, simplifying monetization. How much you want to bet the simplifying monetization part also doesn't include lowering the price from $40 or $80? Shifting focus to classic modes and more. However, to pull this off, the developer will have to hold another round of layoffs. Well, of course. Of course they would have to do layoffs, right? We're going to do more, but we also have to let people go because we're going to get back to the roots. We're going to get back to the basics. Splitgate 2 developer announces role reduction. Splitgate 2's new statement on X reveals that rebuilding the core experience isn't a quick fix. No, you should have just made a game and then sold a game. Why is it so hard to understand? Make product, sell product. You don't have to apologize to people. You don't have to take it back to beta. You don't have to monetize the shit out of it. You just make a game, sell a game. If it's good, it'll make it. If it's not, it goes away. And that is how business works. Okay? So if the effort to pull this off, 1047 has taken an incredibly difficult decision. Incredibly difficult. To reduce a certain roles and shift their resources to focus on the game's rework. The impact of employees will receive a severance pay and job placement support. Of course, that's just like regular jargon, isn't it not? Like this is just standard business practice, right? You got to say this. It's like saying if someone's advertised, like if they're sponsored by someone, they're like, this video is sponsored by. This bullshit statement is sponsored by. The impact of employees will receive a severance pack and job placement support. And the developer is committed to assisting them during the transition. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you employ them to fix your game? How about you employ them to fix a game? Moreover, to help retain as many employees as possible, 1047 Games has decided to shut down the original Splitgate server in a month. They would have to love to keep it alive indefinitely. However, the team is being prioritized now over the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they have been spent to keep the servers running in the past years. Here we go. Make the problem, sell the solution. Real quick, I want to look up Splitgate Steam charts. Not Splitgate 2. Splitgate. No, that's Splitgate 2 I just clicked on. I want Splitgate. Okay. Splitgate right now, okay, is at 67,724 of all-time peak, 165 peak, 94 in the last couple hours, right? Now, obviously, there's not a major population going over there, from the other one, okay? I would assume that let's just times this by like 3 or 4, maybe 5, because of all the other people that could be playing on consoles or whatnot, okay? Make the problem, sell a solution. They're like, look, we screwed up. No one's playing this game over here. What about if we shut down Splitgate 1, and then those people will move over to Splitgate 2, and then we take the employees that we just fired from Splitgate 2, bring the people over from Splitgate 1 over to Splitgate 2, since they're already there, And this is during the time where a thing is trying to pass right now, right? At least in the public eye, of stop killing games. And yet Splitgate's going, we're shutting down the servers. At the time, the developer understands that the original Splitgate holds a lot of value for players, so they're exploring ways to support the game offline or implement a method of hosting peer-to-peer matches. Well, that's nice of them. That's a nice thing of them. Should have thought about that before announcing you're closing it. I'm just saying, right? Talking about Splitgate 2 and layoffs, 1047 Games has reduced its staff just over a month ago. A few weeks after game launches, the co-founders, Ian and Nick, had opted not to take salaries to focus on the next phase of the project. What are your thoughts on Splitgate 2 developers announcing new layoffs? Let us know through the official and then through Insider Gaming's community board there, right? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let's read this jargon from them, from Splitgate 2. Right, Splitgate 2 beta. Okay. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it, and also myself. To the Splitgate community, we believe in Splitgate 2. Of course you do. It's your game. You would hope, right? You didn't believe in it enough to finish the game and put it out, though, right? This game means everything to us. Of course it does, because it's your whole life. You made millions of dollars from it from the very first one. It's been our life for almost 10 years, starting in our dorm room, and we're more committed than ever to delivering an incredible experience you deserve. Make a game, sell a game. We've heard your feedback, and we agree with you. We launched too early. Wow. Wow. Can you imagine the audacity? Now, I know this makes it seem like, well, at least they're admitting it. You didn't know. You're making the game. You're making the game. And then you're like, oh, yeah, we heard you. We were launched too early. You think? Let's not forget the $140 microtransaction. We had ambitious goals with Splitgate 2, money. And our excitement to share it with you, we bit off more than we could chew. Money. We rushed certain features, made certain bonehead mistakes, and most importantly, we didn't give you the polished, portal-filled mayhem you fell in love with. That's right, because you rushed out the door because you took the cash. You took the cash, and you thought you could make more cash. And you learned along the way, and you know what? Fantastic. What you're going to have to do here, at least in my opinion, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to shut down this game. This game is going to lose. It will not have a No Man's Sky comeback. It will not have anything of the sort. People will look at this and then learn from it going forward and go, man, remember that game Concord? Yeah, let's not do that. Remember that game Splitgate 2? Yeah, let's not do that. Okay? There's certain games that people look at, Redfall, Concord, right? There's certain games people look at and go, yeah, we shouldn't do that. Splitgate 2 and 1047 will be that cautionary tale of two guys that had a dream, started in their dorm room, had a great game, and then fell to the wayside. Because why? They tried to grow their business way too fast, tried to become greedy for the monetization factor of microtransactions in their game, instead of, say it with me, chat, make a game, sell a game. It says, so we're going back to the beta. Remember that other game that went back to beta? I forget what game that was. It came out, went back to beta, came out, went back to beta. I forget what game that was. Someone put that in the chat, okay? We'll be heads down until next year, rebuilding major parts of the game to capture the spirit of what made Splitgate special. That means reworking progression from the ground up, adding more portals to our maps, simplifying monetization, whatever that means. Whatever that means. Refocus on classic game modes you've been asking for, and more, which will be shared soon. I love how the fan base was like, we just want classic game modes. So like, we're going to give you Battle Royale. And you're like, I don't want a Battle Royale. If I wanted a Battle Royale, I would go play, guess what? A Battle Royale. I'll go play a Battle Royale. Right? Now more than ever, we need your help. Oh, you got to love it. True fans, come forward. Okay? We burned you not once, not twice. Okay? It will be 3 times. We need your help more than ever. We're returning not just to our roots. Oh, there it is. There it is. Going back to its roots. It's what we built, but how we build it with you. This means more play tests, more surveys, more listening, and truly being a community first. Our goal is to combine the DNA of the first game with the best improvements for the second. First impressions are everything. I've heard everything I need to hear. I don't play this game originally anyway, right? But now I've seen who Ian is as a business owner, as a upper management, how you can't juggle money and prioritization of what you're supposed to do with making your game. So I wasn't supporting already because I already saw it. But if I was you and you got burned once, not because of Splitgate 1, but now twice because of Splitgate 2, it's going to be really hard for people to trust going forward, even if they make Splitgate 3, right? Because that's what I think is going to happen. Because Splitgate 2 is going to go back into the thing in beta. They're going to close it down because they've learned a lot. Okay? They've learned a lot. We saw our ways. We made a mistake. So now we're going to make Splitgate 3. Okay? It says rebuilding the core experience isn't a quick fix. It's a long-term commitment to give ourselves the time to build the Splitgate you deserve. We've made the incredible difficult decision to reduce certain roles and shift our resources to focus on the rework. This is heartbreaking. These are our teammates, our friends, and they help build what we have today. We're receiving severance and job placement support, and we committed to doing everything that we can and help them through the transition, and we hope bring them back when we can. Do you understand that me reading this to you, we're like the super minority. Everybody else, you're just a customer. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Insert company name here. I don't care what your excuses are. Do you guys care if I didn't start my stream this morning because I stubbed my toe or broke my leg? Sure, the human compassion, you'd be like, oh, man, that sucks, 30. I hope you feel better, right? But to use that as like, oh, sorry, guys, I didn't work the last week and a half because I had a migraine. They don't care. I'm here because you're like, well, 10 o'clock. Let me turn on and see what 30's talking about today. Right? As a person, sure, you'd be like, oh, man, I hope he feels better. But as a customer, you're like, why isn't he on? Is something wrong with YouTube? What's happening here? Okay. So in an effort to retain as many team members as possible, we're also going to shutting down OG Splitgate servers in a month, while we also love to keep the servers online indefinitely. It's cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past couple of years. Not my problem. Not my problem. And with the prioritize our team, like us, we know that this game means a lot to so many of you. So we're exploring the possibilities of supporting offline peer-to-peer machines. I applaud you for that because of what's happening with Stop Killing Games. They're talking about, look, if you're going to make this type of game, you're going to take it away from us. You should give us a way to play this game, right? And when we return, we plan to have a dedicated experience in Splitgate 2 that delivers our promise of the original. Actions are louder than words. In the meantime, Splitgate 2 will remain playable, and we'll still be able shipping Chapter 3 as well as fixing the high-priority changes. We hope you will continue to play and support the game. As always, please keep the feedback coming. Well, here, this statement right here is a big one, right? Because what they're saying to you, at least in my opinion, what they're saying to you is, in the meantime, hey, Splitgate 2 is going back into beta. It'll remain playable. Oh, and by the way, we're still shipping the next season. And within that season, we're still getting microtransactions. And as well as these fixes and high-priority changes are coming, we hope you will continue to play and support the game. Support the game is not just support by playing. Support is also by paying the microtransactions for the game that's no longer released, that is now in beta, that you will be playing still full price, but they're putting it back in beta because they're working on it to make it better. So what's the difference between alpha, beta, early access, preview, and now gold edition? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing is different from Monday to Tuesday because the game is still out. The game is still playable. They just said now it's a beta. Okay? So please keep the feedback coming. And I'm giving you feedback, not as a player of your game. I'm giving you feedback as a person that's saying, you look terrible doing this. You've done nothing but apologize the entire time. You've done nothing but put your foot in mouth for the last month and a half. Okay, so it says we faced a lot of dark days and have many mistakes. All of us do. We're all human. Okay, but we've learned a lot. As determined as ever to make Splitgate as great as possible, Splitgate has been our life for 10 years, and we wouldn't have it any other way. We've got work to do, but we aren't giving up. Not yet. Not yet, because this right here, it says you will continue. I hope you continue to play and support the game, because if you don't, let me tell you something. I'm just going to put it out. They say by next year. I'm going to say it's coming to me. Hold on a second, chat. I could feel it coming. I'm going to say by September. By September. We're in July, end of July. So I'm going to give them August, September, October-ish. They will come out and say, we're closing down. We can't do it. Okay? That is my prediction. So we'll see what happens, right? It says, we love this game. We love this community. Too much to ever quit, so we won't. We'll see. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you, Ian and Nick, because I think you have a long road ahead of you, and I don't think, okay, I want to be 100% wrong. I do. I want to be 100% wrong. But you have, in my opinion, no shot. This game is done. You might as well just stop. Take the staff that you have remaining. Take the investors that you have and start working on something else, because you blew it with Splitgate 2, because you left Splitgate 1. You lost your identity to move over to make Splitgate 2 into a battle royale, into everything else that everyone else is doing. You were chasing trends instead of sticking with your vision about leaving Splitgate 2 as that arena fast-paced shooter that people loved back in the day, right? You went and chased the money. That's obvious. That's why you put the microtransactions not at a smaller price, at a higher price. You blamed it on the person that you hired. You are the person that hired them, right? The person from Call of Duty. You were chased to be Call of Duty, and the only thing you chased to be Call of Duty was the microtransactions and the incomplete, broken, buggy game. Hopefully, you get your shit together, you get the game together, and something can happen here. But in my opinion, Splitgate 2 is Vagoted. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me scroll back up and see what chat is saying. Well, Multiverse did it. Multiverse had it out in early access. Then they say we're closing it down. Then they brought it back in beta. Then they released it again, right? Oh, no, they went to beta and then they released it. Yeah, but there was another first-person shooter game, team-based game that came out and then went back in and then they closed down. Ron Slusher says, all of this could have been done in the first place, right? Yeah, make a game, sell a game. Water Bear says, you know who said the exact same thing? The devs for Battlefield. It's very true. Roic says, and they will call it Splitgate 3. I think so. I think so. Maybe not this, but they'll be like, oh, we have to close down, and they'll be working on Splitgate 3. Sarge says, roots, baby, the roots. Kyle says, you see someone switch to on brick, got bricked because they used a key from CD keys. What? Oh, God, Nintendo, what are you doing? Sarge says, we listened, we learned, we used the community, and the rest of it, if you're tired of hearing the same fucking talking points from all the fucktards. Eclipse says, they already dropped play it now. I'm going to play it a little bit. Water says, Travis, from the gameplay I'm seeing, the poor man's version of Black Myth, but it's not a bad thing. They say the combat is hard. Oh, you're talking about Wu Chang? Let's see here. Ray says, so sad. I still play Splitgate 1 on my Steam Deck and Xbox One. Splitgate 2, heavier in the resources. Well, don't worry, because Splitgate 1 will be closing down, Ray, and you'll have no choice but to try Splitgate 2 and help them make the game better. Sarge says, hit Hit that like button, chat. The YouTube has changed the interaction algorithm. We need the interaction. Thank you. Yeah, it is very true. Like I said, you're going to hear a lot of YouTubers say it because they are. They've changed the interaction, the way interactions. You'll see less views for people's videos because they only count the videos that people actually interact with now. Because until the bots get trained for other channels where they actually interact, they're not going to count those views that people just watch now. You know what I mean? They want to make sure there's real people actually watching the actual thing. Jesse says, so they're going to make Splitgate 3 before Star Wars Battlefront 3. Maybe, Jesse. Maybe. Which would be sad, wouldn't it? Let's see what else you guys are saying. Robert Jones says, going back to the beta doesn't mean anything. Games still be online. That's exactly right, Jones. This is just a tactic that companies use. They're like, hey, we're out right now. Everything that you're doing right now, you can still do, but we're going back to beta. Okay, cool. Isn't that what you were doing already? Weren't you doing patches and updates and fixes for the game already? Does the game microtransactions become cheaper now that it's in beta? Are they going to go slash them 40% more? Probably not. All of a sudden, are all the players that are playing all, what is it again? Wait, that's Split. Oh, that is Splitgate 2. Oh, Jesus. Right? So is Splitgate 2 all of a sudden, all the people that are playing now, do they come back and go, wait a minute, it's in beta, they heard us, chat. They heard us, we're going back to play the game. No, it's the same game. Same exact game, just now with beta on it. Makes no sense. Sarge says, bro, you need to make the next song about corporate speak and use all the taglines they use to apologize for being a shit show. All the lines. It's a good idea, Sarge. It's a good idea. Let's see. Eclipse says, oh, you guys are talking about the story. Kyle says, Mike, you might have missed it, but Outer Worlds 2 price is changing to $70. I put the article in Discord. Well, thank you very much for the information. If we have time, we'll talk about that. Waterbear says, how many games have a No Man's Sky moment? This is not going to have a No Man's Sky moment. A lot of games don't have a No Man's Sky moment, right? No Man's Sky had a No Man's Sky moment because it's a different game. Yes, it's an open world game, but was there another game that you could go to 18 quintillion planets? Was there a game where you could scan things that are like indefinitely and they keep expanding stuff? Like, No Man's Sky is still a really, really niche game as far as there's not really a lot of games like No Man's Sky, right? Sci-fi, open world, indefinite, do what you want. Right? There's other survival games and stuff like that, but there's not a lot of games like that. Splitgate's a dime a dozen. Dime a dozen. All they did was take Halo and Portal and mash them together, okay? It's got different game mechanics, but there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of PvP-type games like this. So why am I going to give them my time, which is the most valuable, by the way? Why am I going to give them my time for that when I can go play a game I know that's already fixed or already done? You know, other people made a game and sold a game. They didn't make a game. They're made some of a game, and they're changing it as they go. Waterbear says, maybe it's time for us to go back to beta in real life. $19.99. Thank you very much for the $19.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Robert John says, I say when the store goes live, you're officially launched. The store always goes live. Remember that Anthem had for their beta, they had the store opened in the beta before the game launched? Ron says the beta tag is basically get out of jail free card. Yep. Jason says make FPS great again. He's going to have to come out with a second hat, right? Jason, second hat says make FPS great again. Beta. Splitgate 3, bet you're going to be canceled faster than EA cancellation of The Crew. Ooh, could be. Robert Jones says the only saving grace is Splitgate 1 fully existed in Splitgate 2. Yeah, but now they're getting rid of Splitgate 1, right? See the new team up move? I did. I posted it in Discord in the Marvel section yesterday where Torch picks him up and then like flies the thing across. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. Krebsy Gaming says Final Fantasy 14 as far as having a No Man's Sky moment. Didn't Final Fantasy, I might be wrong here, but didn't Final Fantasy 14 have the moment before No Man's Sky? Before we had a No Man's Sky moment? What year did Final Fantasy fix the game? Was that during the same year? Because was it 2000? It was what, 2016 when No Man's Sky? What year did Final Fantasy 14 fix itself? Yeah, I think it was before, right? Let me see. When did Final Fantasy 14 get fixed? Yeah, Final Fantasy 14 was fixed and relaunched as Final Fantasy XIV: The Realm Reborn on August 27th, 2013. Yeah, so that was before No Man's Sky even existed, before it even came out. So technically, we can say it had a Final Fantasy XIV moment, right? No Man's Sky had a Final Fantasy XIV moment. But you don't get to pick your nicknames, right? And people are like, yeah, Final Fantasy XIV fixed their game. No Man's Sky changed their game. Like, changed it. 2 years went silent and then just completely changed what it was. And since then, they have about 24 different DLCs and still charge nothing for any of them. But you would be correct, Krebsy. Final Fantasy XIV had a No Man's Sky moment, or No Man's Sky had a Final Fantasy XIV moment. Roic says it's like every game wants to have a No Man's Sky moment instead of having its own moment. It's so stupid. Yeah, look, I say it a million times. Make a game, sell a game. Make a game, sell a game. I have a video on make a game, sell a game. What developers have to do. And most of the problems to these games that come out that are broke, buggy, unfinished is not because of the developers. It's because of the suits. It's because of the upper management. It's because of the people that push it out before it's ready. Okay? And it's always their fault. Not really the devs' fault. It's not the devs are lazy. It's not anything like that. It's the people that want their money faster and they don't want to finish the game. They're like, we'll push it out, we'll fix it later. Because that's what the internet does. The internet lets you put the game out there and fix it later. Look, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, right? I'm talking back in the day. There was games on the Nintendo that were broke, buggy, and unfinished. And unfinished meaning like you couldn't beat the game because the game didn't exist past that point. They're like, let's just make it super hard and you can't beat the game. Because they didn't get a second chance. They made the game, put it on the cartridge, and then sent it out. Now, I'm also working on another video about live service games and whatnot, okay? And we love our live service games. We love our live service games because it's like a love-hate relationship because live service games can get fixed, right? But this is why you shouldn't buy it day one. But the problem is if you don't buy it day one, then they don't get that moment where they can shine down the road because they don't have that fan base. But at the same time, the people that give their money, Fallout 76, right? Cyberpunk, which is not really a live service game, even though it won or nominated for live service for best ongoing game, okay? Because there's games like that, people are like, oh, it's just getting better and better. But for the majority of the people, they can just wait because the few pay for the many. But that, I would rather have the company close. I would rather have the company go out of business than give me a half-ass game for 6 years. Like, sorry, you didn't make a game. There's someone else that made a game sold the game. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 had its issues with, like, Act 3 and stuff like that, okay? But that game is in better shape than Battlefield 2042. That was in better shape than Cyberpunk 2077 when it came out, right? That was in better shape than Fallout 76, right? There's games that should fail because they don't learn their lesson. The lesson for the company is that they're like, oh, well, we made a shitty, broken, buggy, unfinished game that's an alpha, beta, early access preview program, okay? And people loved it. So guess what's going to happen? They're going to keep delivering you a broken, buggy, half-assed, unfinished game, and they're still going to milk you like a cow as you are because they know you'll pay for it. Travis says, 30, I want Souls games to have their Duke Nukem Forever moment. Is that a thing? Yeah, Duke Nukem came out broke, right? I never played Duke Nukem, but I remember the stories of it. Eclipse says, I've already seen my one movie in the theaters this year. You only get one. El Dente says, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 was broke, buggy, and unfinished. Yeah. Yeah, but because you love Star Wars, you gritted your teeth and you went through it. Witcher 3, broke, buggy, and unfinished. It was called The Glitcher. Literally called The Glitcher. But people had fun, so they just kept driving through and said, you know, that's so good. And because The Glitcher was the way it was, they're like, hey, we could put Cyberpunk out like that. Jack says, Splitgate 2 Overwatch, 2 sequels to games that already started years ago. Let's do part 2, and we got Fortnite and Apex Legends. Why do I need a sequel and make it worse than the first one? Excellent point, Jax. Right? El Dente says, dude, I love KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2. I still play it to this day, unmodded. Let's see. Water says, normally I'm there day one for Marvel movies, but man, that has changed over the years because, well, Disney. Fantastic Four is getting somewhat, like people are saying, which is kind of weird. They're giving it like 6s and 7s, right? Not just IGN, but like 6s and 7s, right? The normie type of people, right? That saw it. And they say it's the best effects they've seen in a while. They say it's the best overall Marvel film, and some are saying it's the best Marvel film this year. Well, that's not, the bar is set like here. Actually, the bar is like set here, right? So who knows? Who knows what's right? Jesse says, 30, did you see James Gunn's Superman movie yet? Yeah, I did. I saw it this past weekend, Jesse, and I hated it. I did not like it. I shouldn't say hate. Hate's a strong word. I fucking hated it. No, I disliked it. I disliked it. It just, to me, there was moments in the thing I was like, oh, this is good. And then I was like, there's more cons than pros for me, and wasn't impressed with it. I was very disappointed in it. Hopefully they, because I felt like it wasn't even a Superman film. I felt like it was a Superman film that was advertisement for the rest of the DC universe that comes out, 10 years from now. Krebsy says Xbox has pushed back them changing to $80 games to at least after the holidays, and Outer Worlds 2 will be going from 80 to 70. Yeah, someone said that earlier, Krebsy. Appreciate it. I think Kylo said it. El Dente says the Fantastic Four is the best Fantastic Four ever because they're comparing it to the last one. I didn't realize this. Did you guys see? I put it in Discord, or no, I put it in. Was it in general? I think I put it in general. Right? I put a screenshot. I did not know, because I didn't see movies in like 2014, 2015 era, because my son was born and you just don't get to go to movies a lot. I didn't know the last Fantastic Four movie, which came out in 2015, is a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, 9%. How bad is that movie? 9%. Like, I've saw these, and these were, they were pretty bad, right? But the last Fantastic Four movie that came out in 2015 was 9%? Holy shit. Water says, they said that the same thing about Thunderbolts too, 30. See how they turned out for them? Thunderbolts, they said, was a good movie. It's just nobody cares because nobody cares about the characters. El Dente says, the bar is so low, it's out in the other side of the world. Titan, what's going on, Titan? Says, Fantastic Four, better than Thunderbolts, would be very good, in my opinion. But is that the bar to set, though, Titan? Like, Thunderbolts, it's better than Thunderbolts? So what, Thunderbolts is the best movie since, what, Endgame? And Fantastic Four is going to be the best movie since Thunderbolts? Which is still less than everything else? Eclipse says, the best thing I've heard about this is its own story that's awesome that makes me want to see the stream eventually. Cool Bama guy, what's going on? He says, I got burnt out on Marvel movies a long time ago. Sarge says, the customer base is as control, and we don't pay for $80 games, and the games will not be $80. It's really that simple. Jesse says, Superman movies first setup of the DC 2. Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying? It's a Superman movie. Real quick, why didn't people like the Snyder universe when they did like Batman versus Superman, right? Because basically they made the Justice League before they had their own movies, right? They rushed it. They rushed that movie out, and everyone's like, why did you do this, right? Which is, you could blame Marvel. You could blame Marvel because the way they set up the Avengers, they did the Iron Man, the Captain America, the Thor. They introduced all the characters, early on in those three series and 3 film sets. So they set it up correctly. Superman was like, hey, here you go. Like, they're already talking about a Mr. Terrific TV show. Everyone likes Crypto. Obviously, Crypto will probably get his own cartoon or whatnot. Okay. Supergirl was introduced in the movie because she's the next one going into the thing. So it was like an advertisement for everything else to happen and not really what Superman was. Which I get, but the story just wasn't good. And people could love it. They'd be like, oh, it's the best Superman ever. Fantastic. Me, didn't like it. Roic says they're going to remove Superman from the theaters to rework it and have a No Man's Sky moment. Yeah. Well, technically they do that, Roic. They put like the director's cut in and stuff like that. They do re-release it in theaters later. Waterbear says, I can't wait for GTA 6 to drop and come out at $49.99. The rest of the entire gaming universe will be like, what the hell? El Dente says, dude, the best part of the movie was the credits rolling. I like the 2005 one. It can't be good. The second one was trash. Jason says it will be the best Marvel since Endgame, which they said about, I think they said about Black Panther 2, Thunderbolts, and I believe there was one more they said, the best one since Endgame. Krabby says, I just stopped giving a fuck. Marvel and DC will be back when they change that. Or, yeah, DC will be back when they change that, yeah. Sarge just, pss, pss. You know what time it is? It's time to hit that like button. Thanks, Sarge. Wait, there was that many Fantastic Four movies? There's actually one more that they don't show here, right? There's actually another Fantastic Four movie that don't show that was in the early 90s. I think it was like 92, 93. There was an actual Fantastic Four movie. So there's been 5 Fantastic Four movies but 4 that they're only bringing up. Yeah, El Dente said it here. Sarge, there's actually even an older one. Yeah. I want to say late 80s, early 90s, I think it was. Like, it's bad. Sarge says it's 9%. Is that real? It is real. Yep. What's going on, Mo? Yes, better than Thunderbolts will be a good standard. Okay. So Endgame's here, right? Endgame's here. Thunderbolts is here. So Fantastic Four will be above that. It'd be like here. Krebsy says Fantastic Four 2015 is what Killmonger after his dad died. Water Bear says Mr. Terrific was awesome. No, I agree. But remember, Water Bear, the movie wasn't called Mr. Fantastic, but Mr. Fantastic was actually the best character in the film, in a Superman film. Imagine that. Imagine if I watched James Bond and James Bond wasn't the best character in James Bond. Imagine I watched Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones wasn't the best character in Indiana Jones. Imagine walking out of a theater and saying, what did you like about Superman? Well, I like the dog. I like Mr. Terrific. I like Lois. Where does Superman fall in that category of Superman movie? I mean, I like Corn Sweat. I do. I thought Corn Sweat was really good as Superman. But the problem is, Superman wasn't the best character in a Superman film. Titan, did 30's prediction, whoever's in chat, source the leak saying Superman ended up being right? Yeah, so there was moments in the film that was correct. So I don't want to actually say it because there's still people that want to go see the movie. It wasn't a 100% like to the T, but there was things in the movie that 100% were in that leak that were in the movie. So yes. El Dente says, how funny would it be if James Gunn released the Snyder Cut of the new Superman movie and they just mute all the colors? That would, that'd be funny. How can you have 5 Fantastic Four movies and none of them be a sequel? Oh, no, they are. There's a sequel. Yeah, there's a sequel. There's a sequel in there. So this is the group in 2005, and then this is their second movie in 2007. This one never got a sequel. The first one never got a sequel. The second one did get a sequel. The third one never got a sequel, and then obviously this Fantastic Four should get a sequel. Clip says, man, the new comic book run for DC is getting good, and they're about to have a tournament of power to see who fights Darkseid. I'm excited. Look, I like when comic books are getting good again. I mean, I'm enjoying the Transformers one. Jesse says the Fantastic Four 1994 was bad, but was it 9% bad? You know what? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look up all the Fantastic Four movies. Is it higher or lower? Well, you saying the Fantastic Four movie in 1994 was bad. Well, here it is. Here it is. 1994 Fantastic Four movie was a 33%. 33%. Right? Fantastic Four 2005 was 27%. 37% for Fantastic Four in 2007, and that's only because of Silver Surfer, let's be honest, the extra points. Okay? Fantastic Four 2015, 9%. That is insane. And now the new one's getting 86%. That's a big jump. That's a big jump. That's crazy. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. All right, let's go to the second story. We're going to do one story, right? Splitgate? Yeah, let me get Splitgate. Boy, Splitgate. All right, the next story I want to talk about, it's a newsletter, okay? So I want to take this with a huge grain of salt, okay? I saw the title, which I thought was funny, because yesterday we just happened to talk about the exact topic, which I find a little strange, okay? Because the article was written after my morning show. Now, I don't believe in any world that someone watched me and said, you know what, I'm going to do the research on this. It just so happens that I said it, and then this happened. I put it out in the universe, and the universe was like, hey, you were talking about this. Here it is. If you guys like what I do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay, so the next story is Forza Horizon 5 is now 2025's top-selling new PlayStation 5 game, racing past copies sold for huge first-party PlayStation titles. Now, I'm going to be very honest here. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because you guys love talking about console wars. You guys love throwing numbers in there. You guys love saying that these guys don't buy anything and these people buy things and those people don't know what video games are and we buy our games and all of this shit. And I just love when there's data and facts, okay? So I don't know if these are 100% true. Again, the guy did the research and stuff. His name is Rise Elliott, okay, or Rise Elliott. So Forza Horizon 5 is now 2025's top-selling new PlayStation 5 game, racing past, I like what you did there, racing, past copies sold for huge first-party PlayStation titles. Now, plus update Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox numbers for titles like Monster Hunter Wilds, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Expedition 33, and quick analysis of why Xbox is transitioning from console. Okay. So it says, your eyes do not deceive you. And this is a bonus edition of the Insight newsletter here, and it's a big one. So let's get into it. Forza Horizon 5 in 2025 is the top new PlayStation 5 game by copies sold. Is that digital? Is that physical? I don't know. Let's read on. Xbox ported Forza Horizon 5 to PlayStation 5 at the end of March of 2025, almost 4 years after its original release of PC and Xbox console. I'm pretty sure it's 4 years, is it not? Is it 4 years? Okay. Or I'm sorry, 5 years, isn't it? Last week, Forza surpassed 3 million copies sold. And yesterday I said it was 4, so I was off by 1. Okay, 1 million, which is big. Right? So 3 million copies sold on PlayStation 5, overtaking Monster Hunter World. This means Forza Horizon 5 is 2025 World? He's talking about Wilds, right? Overtaking Monster Hunter World. Or World or Wilds? I think he's mistaken there, but I don't know. All right. This means Forza Horizon 5 is 2025's best-selling new game on PlayStation consoles for copies sold. Okay? Forza's most recent sale, minus 25% to $45, was the engine that drove it past the coveted 3 million mark on PlayStation 5. Across the Xbox One and Series X and S, more than 45.5 million have checked out Forza Horizon 5, mostly on Game Pass, and the Xbox franchise to be reckoned with. But Forza 5, or Forza Horizon, is also an off-platform force to be reckoned with. Xbox revenue on top of the 3 million copies sold on PlayStation 5. The Steam version has sold an additional 6.5 million. So that's pretty good. So that's an additional 9.5 million copies sold. Okay. As Xbox off-platform strategy continues to expect to see Forza Horizon 6 launching on PlayStation 5 on day one. Maybe. By then, Xbox would have fully completed a transition to third party. More on that at the end of the newsletter. Okay, so let's dive into the rest of the top 5, which include a bunch of fantastic RPGs. So this is the thing I saw on Twitter. That's why I clicked on it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. We were just talking about this. So it is Monster Hunter Wilds. He said Worlds. Okay. So Forza Horizon 5 is 2025's top new PlayStation 5 game by copies sold. Okay. Top 5 games by copies sold on PlayStation 5, January 1st, 2025 to July 21st, 2025. Forza and new RPGs across different RPG subgenres continue to dominate the sales on PlayStation in 2025. Forza 5 sold 3 million copies. Again, it says Alina Analytics PlayStation estimates. Okay, so 3 million for Forza Horizon 5. Monster Hunter Wilds, 2.9 million. Assassin's Creed Shadows, 2 million. Elden Ring Night Reign, 1.4 million. And Expedition 33, 1.3 million. Now, I just want to say something here. Everyone says that PlayStation buys their games. PlayStation buys their games. There's 70 million, you guys say 77, 75 million PlayStations sold. 75 million. Let's say 75 million sold PlayStation owners. And yet Expedition 33, 1.3 million people bought it out of 75 million. Night Reign, out of 75 million people that own a PlayStation, 1.4 million people bought Elden Ring Night Reign. Out of 75 million people, Assassin's Creed Shadows only sold 2 million copies. Out of 75 million people, only 2.9 million people bought Monster Hunter Wilds. And out of 75 million people, only 3 million people bought Forza Horizon 5. But yet, people keep telling me that PlayStation fans buy their games. Okay, what are the other 72 million, 74 million, 74 point, like, what are they doing? So various RPGs round off the rest of the top 5 for PlayStation's top new games. Monster Hunter Wilds, number 2 on PlayStation 5 game, copies sold, has sold 2.9 million copies on PlayStation 5. It shifted at further 6.2 million on Steam. The PC version outselling its console version almost 2-1. The marks are a huge success for Capcom's push on the PC. Monster Hunter Wilds has generated well over $500 million this year. It's worth noting that Monster Hunter was actually generated more revenue on PlayStation 5 than Forza, despite selling fewer copies. This is most likely due to Monster Hunter's $70 price tag. Well, duh. Of course. 70 is higher than 40, right? Isn't it $40 for Forza? Oh, I'm sorry. There's a version of Forza is $60 on PlayStation 5. Intermediate sales below 50. Okay. Assassin's Creed Shadows has sold around 2 million copies of PlayStation 5, 650,000 on Steam, and reached a further 1.1 million players on Xbox. Okay. So there you go. That's interesting. Assassin's Creed has sold around 2 million copies on PlayStation 5. 75 million units out there. Okay. Yet Xbox, who has 38 million, so about half of what PlayStation's out there, and Xbox has bought 1.1 million. That's crazy. But those PlayStation fanboys will tell you that Xbox doesn't buy their games. But there's more people buying it on Xbox, percentage-wise, than there is on the actual PlayStation. So the numbers are decent, but Shadows not generated much profit. With the revenue over 180 million, that's a false number too, because we know it's higher than that. Ubisoft CEO recently let slip to shareholders that Shadows' budget was over 115 million. We expected a lot more from that. Nice try. He says, anyway, Shadows have likely broken even now after 4 months of the market, but sadly hasn't been a silver bullet for Ubisoft's needed. Elden Ring, Night Reign, has sold 1.4 million copies of PlayStation consoles this year, another 2.7 on Steam, and 750,000 on Xbox. This means experimental PvE Souls-like from FromSoft sold almost 5 million copies across all platforms on PlayStation. 84% of Night Reign players have played the original Elden Ring versus 77% on Steam players. Expedition 33, a turn-based RPG, the only new IP on the top 5, has sold 1.4 million copies on PlayStation 5. So far this year, Sandfall made the game Final Fantasy fans have also begging for, was never got from Square. Expedition 33's success speaks volumes, selling another 2.3 million copies on Steam. On another PlayStation 5, 1.4 million. On PlayStation 5, Expedition 33 has also sold almost as many copies as Metaphor, like the Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Combined, these two 2024 games from two iconic JRPG developers with heavy ties to PlayStation as a brand emphasize the Expedition 33 incredible performance for a new IP. Now, here's another thing I want to look at, right? So, this is sales for players, right? Clair Obscur, Metaphor, and Like a Dragon. So, this first one here is Like a Dragon. This one is Metaphor, right? And then this last one is Clair Obscur. Okay, so much, much higher. It says, expect the ranking to look a lot different by the end of the year following the launch of FC26, Borderlands 4, Black Ops, whatever is that, 7. Had to, why would you put it that way? Anyway, maybe a few surprises. In fact, College Football 26 is already approaching 1.2 million copies sold on PlayStation 5 after less than 2 weeks. So that will probably be dethrone Expedition 33 over the next month. Forza Horizon 5 has now sold more copies on PlayStation 5 than last year's Game of the Year. This is the thing we talked about yesterday before he came out with this. Okay. Now, Forza Horizon 5 has reached 3 million copies sold before Astrobot, while Death Stranding 2 has crossed 1 million sold. So Death Stranding 2, you can see that, now obviously this could go up, right? Death Stranding 2 is here, and it could shoot up if it wants to, if other people are excited about it. But it'll probably make a consistent growth and end up, probably like 2 million by the end of the year, 3 million, whatever it is. Okay? Like, Death Stranding 2 might end up where Forza Horizon 5 is by the end of the year. Astrobot, that PlayStation ponies, I'm specifically the ponies, okay? Not PlayStation fans. There's a difference, okay? There's people that own a PlayStation, and then there's the ponies. The ponies say that Astrobot is the greatest game ever created, but yet it only sold around 1.5 million in the first 90 days, right? 1.7. And then there was a bump here because of the update and stuff that came out for it. And now it's just under 3 million. So I'll say like 2.9 million, okay, at like 320 days later. So almost a full year later, it's almost at 3 million copies. Remember, Astrobot sold 1.5 million in the first 90 days. And 75 million people own a PlayStation. This is a first-party title. The ponies tell you that they buy their games. So it tells you how many ponies are in the PlayStation fan base, because the PlayStation fan base is 75 million, but less than 2 million are the people that say that they buy their games, which is fine. Now, I get it. Astrobot's not for everybody, okay? But it sold 1.5 million units, where the third-party game that comes from the competitor has sold 3 million in 90 days, less than 90 days, right? In less than 90 days, Forza Horizon 5 has sold 3 million copies. Now, by the end of the year, 100% Astrobot, maybe, by the time Forza hits 320 days, maybe it doesn't sell anything ever again. Maybe it just stays a flat line, okay? But that shows me that, what are you guys talking about? Like, you guys say you buy your games, but your first-party titles here, Astrobot and Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 2 has only been out for like 22 days, 20 days, or whatever the hell it is, okay? And that's at 1 million copies. Again, 75 million people own a PlayStation. But only 1 million people have bought a first-party title of Death Stranding 2. Only 2.8 million people have bought Astrobot. So some key takeaways from this above image. Forza Horizon 5 has sold 2 million copies on PlayStation 5 after 25 days after launch. You might remember that Assassin's Creed Shadow only just passed that milestone after 4 months. Death Stranding 2 has sold 1 million copies on PlayStation 5 in 25 days on the market, but copies sold seem to be stabilizing already. While it's also a huge hit amongst critics, Death Stranding 2 means that the sales have come below other PlayStation Studio titles, including Astrobot. Still, it's one of those franchises that will have a long tail, which I agree with. It will also continue to sell well over time, boosted by PC ports likely in Q3, which also pull in a lot of Chinese players. Astrobot passed 2 million copies, sold roughly 3 months after launch, getting a nice boost in sales from the Game of the Year chatter. And it's also a big win at the Game Awards in 2024, will pass 3 million by the end of the summer. As you can see, the video below again shows off the platform. Forza has a new past copies sold of Astrobot and a slew of other recent PlayStation 5 first-party, second-party, and timed exclusive game titles. All right, so again, unless someone comes out with the sales numbers, the Xbox and the Sony ponies are always going to argue, we buy our games, no you don't, all this other stuff. This is data. Now, I don't know if the data is 100% correct. I don't know if they're doing it off of physical sales, digital sales, right? They never share numbers. This happens to share a number, and this is what we're going off on, okay? Again, I don't know if these are official numbers. I don't know if this is, estimated based on whatever. But what I do know is the chart that they're showing here is showing that Forza sold more than 2 first-party games right now that are on PlayStation with a huge player base, right? They have 75. Again, I'm going to say that over and over and over again. 75 million people. What games are they playing on the PlayStation? It would have to be Call of Duty. It would have to be Fortnite. It would have to be Minecraft or Roadblocks, right? It would have to be these other games that, again, have been out for 7 years, as that other article said last year, where they're playing more old games than they're playing new games. So when they say that they don't buy their games, like Xbox doesn't buy their games, well, that the one stat, they actually bought more of the game on their platform with only 38 million sold than you guys bought at 75 million. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me scroll back up and see what you guys are saying here. Let's go on, Bright Child. He says, with Forza doing well, they should also be a sign that PlayStation needs to bring out good renditions of Ridge Racer. PlayStation ponies obviously like good car games. Yeah. Yeah, they love Gran Turismo. They love, obviously, Forza Horizon enough to get 3 million people to play it. Don't they have Dirt? Do they have Dirt on there as well? I think they like that as well. That was a racing game, right? Let's see here. You guys talk about Pedro. Eclipse says, man, that must have really hurt Xbox. Right. The 3 million copies sold over on the other platform. Look at those losers over there making money. Forza sold more than Gran Turismo. I don't know if it sold more than Gran Turismo. I don't know what's the. It can't, right? No, Gran Turismo sold more than that, right? What is it? Gran Turismo 7? 8? Which one was it? 7, right? No. Gran Turismo 7 has sold an estimated 14.4 million copies worldwide. Yeah, not even close. I would hope not. Gran Turismo is like the franchise. One of the greater franchises of racing games out there. I don't know if it's just on PlayStation 5. Here, let me see. Gran Turismo 7 total sales. No, they don't separate it. They don't separate it. Yeah, it says will not specify isolate. So that's 14.4 million on PlayStation 4 and 5. Makes you wonder though. But they don't say it. How many people bought Forza Horizon 5 on Xbox? They don't share those numbers, Z. But what did they say? 6.4 6.4 million of them bought it on, where did it say? Yeah, it was like 6 million bought it on PC. I'm looking it up. Let me see. Yeah, 6.5 million bought it on Steam. So it sold 6.5 million on Steam. It sold 3 million on PC, or I'm sorry, PlayStation. So that's 9.5 million copies sold. And that's not including the ones that we don't know that sold on Xbox. And then how many people played it, which is like 45.5 million players have checked it out on Xbox. So let's just say this. Let's say 1 to 2 million. Let's say the same amount of people that bought it on PlayStation bought it on Xbox. Everybody else, like, played it on Game Pass only, right? And remember, there's a shit ton of microtransactions in that game. So 45.5 million players have checked it out on Game Pass or monthly Xbox Game Pass. So Game Pass and bought it. El Dente says 90% of console owners only play FIFA or Madden. That's crazy. Roic says GTA 7 is more of a racing sim, where Forza Horizon 7 isn't strict as full racing sim, or 5, you mean. Mix of arcade and sim makes it so good. The Hot Wheels tracks were so fun. El Dente says COD, FIFA, Madden, and Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Eclipse says, but Xbox people don't buy games. It's like the same type of people are buying the games or something. Yeah, percentage-wise, I would say it's the same amount of people because they're half the people playing, right? It's like 35 to 38 million. Did I gather that 30 million PC players playing Shadows? 30 million? No. Assassin's Creed Shadows, hold up. I think you misheard me. Shadows is 2 million. 2 million from PlayStation. It was Shadows sold 2 million copies on PlayStation 5, 650,000 on Steam, and reached a further 1.1 million players on Xbox. So a grand total of 3.75. Krebsy says, so ship doesn't mean sold, but reach means sold? I mean, we've had this conversation before, Krebsy. To me, when you ship it to a store, Target buys those things, or Walmart, and then they sell it, right? So, yes, Sony's selling them, but they're not sold to people. There's a difference between shipped and sold. Target buys them, but to the customer playing the actual game, that's what sold means. Sarge says you can't use the term silver bullet in journalism to represent a positive outlook. A silver bullet is used as the only thing to kill a werewolf. What the fuck are we talking about? Final Fantasy. I don't know why they wrote it that way. That seems like an AI wrote it, right? That seems like it seems like the article was written by AI a little bit, right? Who would write out Call of Duty and then put dashes and not just say 7? Cool Bama guy says, yeah, it's a shame that more people haven't played Astrobot. And no, I'm not a Sony pony. Yeah, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form, Cool Bam, like, I'm not giving shit for Astrobot not selling. People love using Astrobot as this, well, we have a great game and we buy our games. You know what I mean? Like, a third-party game coming from Microsoft is selling more than the first-party game on PlayStation. Argus says, yeah, PlayStation aren't buying their own games like they are buying COD, FIFA, or Madden. All the shitter game ponies buy games, all right, the slop, but none of the art, making the industry literally worse in bulk numbers. I'm sure the PC port will be announced this year for Astrobot. Yeah, and then they would sell about 3 million more copies, right? Argus says, ironically enough, I'm an Xbox guy, and even I bought the Astrobot first week for full price, beat it, and got my platinum trophy. Most of these PlayStation boys are cheer for it, haven't even bought it. Let's see here. Sarge says, copies sold is copies. Wait, copies sold is copies sold. What the fuck is this discussion? Have the journalist decided to commit on career suicide? I don't know if he's really a journalist. I think it's more of his own little blog or whatever, and he's doing research. I mean, I'm not giving him shit. This is the first data point that I've seen that people talking about sales numbers and whatnot. And I thought it was interesting because we talked about it yesterday, but we didn't have actual proof. Now, I don't know if this is 100% proof, but, you know. Krabby says, because the Astrobot uses the DualSense controllers too much, the PlayStation isn't putting their mascot on their devices, or Astrobot could already be on Switch 2. I don't think Nintendo would like Astrobot on Nintendos because it's too much like a Nintendo game. And look at what they did with Palworld. They don't want to do that. I think they could use the DualSense controller on the PC, though. Can they not? Yeah, Clips right above says, yeah, PC, we have a choice of what controller you want to use. If you want a DualSense, then use the PlayStation 5 controller. Kyle says, man, if they release Forza Horizon 6 day and date on all platforms, it's going to sell insanely well. Yeah, well, it would sell the same, right? Because there's still Game Pass that it would be on. It would still sell on PC. So if it sold 9 million copies, then 6 would sell 9 million copies on day one. Maybe it might sell more. Argus says, the main Xbox X, I main the Xbox Series X, and I probably still buy more PlayStation first-party titles in PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, of which I own both. That's the most PlayStation guys do. Argus says, PC 100% shows up to the table anytime a console first-party game comes into them. You cannot turn your nose up to the platform. Oh, yeah. I don't understand why. I understand why PlayStation doesn't want to give it to Xbox. But to put it on PlayStation, I know they said that they put it on there to take people that are on PC that come over to buy it on PlayStation. If the person that owns a PC owns a PlayStation, then I get it. But the person that doesn't own a PlayStation is not buying a PlayStation so they can play that game. They'll just wait for it to come on PC. $3.75. Gotcha. 10 times in my head. Yeah, it wasn't that many. It sold very little. Titan says Black Ops tally system. Yeah, 4 was 4. No, I understand that. It's just weird because you wouldn't write an article like that. Argus says a lot of people showed up to defend the AC Shadows online. Not that many people showed up to support it with their hard-earned dollars, though. Yeah, and that's why it's all. I don't give a shit about all that people that say all that shit. We talk about numbers because numbers are facts. Well, for the most part, anyway. People can make up numbers until stats actually come out and prove it wrong or whatnot. We only use Roman numbers for the Super Bowl. I don't know why they learn their shit in school. But even if they did the Roman numeral, the Roman numeral for 4 or 7 is not what they wrote. You put the V or you put the X and then 3 minus 3. All right. I just think it's funny. Every time they say they buy their games. Do they? They love saying they buy their games. But again, 75 million people own a PlayStation. How many people are actually buying the games? How many people are just own a PlayStation and just pay for PlayStation Plus? They don't share those numbers, right? Xbox doesn't share those numbers. Do you see the difference? The movie industry shares the numbers, right, for box office. Why? Because it can do really well for you if people think it's good. If it does well the first weekend, that's an upbeat number, and people go, "Oh, that movie's doing well. Let's go see it. It must be good." That's why they use the box office. That's a whole thing. Now they're manipulating the box office numbers in Hollywood because they get people to see it a week before. They give good numbers on Rotten Tomato, Metacritic score, hype it up, put the bots in Twitter because they're like, "Oh, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good." Rinse and repeat. And they try to glaze it over for the first week and a half for that first weekend number. And when that first weekend number's done, that's when you know if it's a good or bad movie based on the amount of people they persuade to go to the theater the opening weekend. The first 2 weekends, okay, well, actually, the first 2 weekends are the biggest time for the movie. After that, it's done. Okay, after that, it's a slow progression to try to break the rest. So if they don't do good the first week or second week, it's done. Now, at video games, they control the space. They control everything. So they don't tell the numbers anymore because it's digital. Okay, so you don't know how many people bought the game because you're not sitting in an auditorium with everyone that bought the game. But when you go to the movies, you can see. Okay, now this happened with the Marvels back in 2019. Everyone's like, "Oh no, the Marvels is an awesome movie," right? It made a lot of money, but you would look in your theater and look both ways and go, "There's nobody here." But yet the theater sold out. So what? People really liked the movie, but they just didn't want to see it? It was all over the place, right? Disney was like buying tickets and whatnot because they have to make it feel like it made money because other people will buy it. Video games don't have to do that. You don't know how many people are playing it on Game Pass. You don't know how many people are playing PlayStation Plus. You don't know how many people are buying the digital goods. They hide these numbers and then just tell you that they're good. But when a small company comes out like Expedition 33 and says, "We sold 3 million copies," sold, not players, right? Not imaginary numbers, play time, no, numbers. We sold this many. Big corporations don't do that anymore because they know that if they say, "Well, we only sold 500,000 units," wah, wah, everyone's like, "What's wrong with the game?" Argus says, statistically, PlayStation guys are buying games, just not really PlayStation first party or bought exclusive games, which is the main and basically the only selling point of that platform to begin with. Right. Now, the vocal minority, okay, which obviously, if you're a person that says Xbox players don't buy their games, I'm going to assume that not you, Argus, I'm just saying in general, right? If you're a type of person that says Xbox doesn't buy their games, then you are a Sony pony, right? And if you're a Sony pony and you say Astrobot sold so well, but 75 million people own a PlayStation and you're defending it and only 2 million people bought, almost 3 million people bought it, that's a lot of people that didn't buy it. So you're defending something because you're the minority, you're the vocal minority protecting your console to make yourself feel better about it, where it's a good game. First of all, it's a fantastic game. Okay, people love it. It made a lot of money for them for the price range of that game. Okay, it won Game of the Year. Congratulations. But for a pony to come out and say, "We buy our games," and then you see a stat like that, and you're like, "Well, hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right." Sarge says buying tickets to make a movie seem popular. Yeah, they do it all the time with like radio ads and stuff. Call in, fifth caller gets a ticket. They hand tickets out. Then say those tickets are sold, even though they didn't buy it. Sarge says transparency would be the death nail for the corporate business. We can't know what they're actually selling. Are you crazy? That would actually tell the truth about the business. All right. The next story is ZeniMax. Now, what should I read? Should I read the PC Magazine one. How long is this one? I guess we read the PC Magazine one. I have the other one, which is from Dual Shockers. Let me see. Is this one longer or shorter? I guess we'll go with this one. All right. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You can also do super chats, download, stream our album that we've created. All right. ZeniMax Online staff blindsided by Microsoft layoffs. Earlier this month, the gaming scene was rocked by Microsoft's massive layoff of 9,000 employees, which includes a significant number of Microsoft gaming Xbox division. One team was gutted, including ZeniMax, which was in development of a new game that was even, if it impressed Xbox Phil Spencer, wasn't enough to have the project and the studio members who were laid off. Today, members of ZeniMax have spoken out about the layoffs, and based on what was shared, Microsoft just didn't fire people. They also instilled anxiety and trauma. Really? Really? Anxiety and drama. We're in trouble, chat. Look, I totally get. They make it sound. I might get shit for this, right? It makes it sound like they have PTSD. We have soldiers on the field that have seen some shit, and they have PTSD, right? But now you're telling me because I'm at a desk and I'm just doing my job. The guy next to me gets fired. The guy on the other side gets me fired. And now I have anxiety. I have anxiety and trauma. I saw Bob. Bob was next to me one day. And then all of a sudden, Bob wasn't there. And then Tina was gone too. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out, man. I got anxiety. I got some trauma going on. I don't know if I'm going to keep my job. Let's settle down here for a second, okay? If you have anxiety, take some pills. Trauma? Stop it. ZeniMax devs lambasted Microsoft for lack of communication. Okay? Multiple developers at the studio spoke, game developer, about the transpired, and while most spoke anonymously, a few current studio members weren't afraid to speak out their minds. That would be me. I'd be like, yeah, it's Mike, M-I-K-E. Like, put my name down, would you? Yeah, I want people to know that I said it. Okay. One ZeniMax developer who wished to remain anonymous discussed how they were blindsided by Microsoft's move to lack of communication. This developer was initially left in limbo for hours as they were locked out of ZeniMax's internal Slack channel, with even the email being frozen. I have a question. Were you getting paid? Did you get paid for those hours? I don't know. I'm asking. Did you get paid for the few hours that you were locked out? The tactic was echoed by another developer who mentioned how it's incited panic amongst other those who also didn't know their fate. Would they even have jobs at the end of the day? One anonymous developer said, considering we don't have email now, I don't know if they're actually even supposed to contact us. I don't know if they even have my personal email pertaining to Microsoft HR. When you take a job, especially in 2025, now, I haven't been in the workforce for quite a bit. And even when I was in the workforce, that was 20 years before I was in the film industry. The film industry had my email. You're telling me you're working for a job, and on your resume, there's nothing there that says your email? Right? Like, I feel like this is being blown out of proportion. Like, I don't even know how they're going to contact me. I don't know if they know where I live. They shut me out of my business email. I don't know. I don't even remember my password to get into the email that I applied for. And just an ex-employee who also speaking out, current ZeniMax employee Paige Branson described the day of layoffs hit as one of the worst days at the job I've ever had in my entire life. Branson added that it was also so bad seeing people distraught, confused, and not working. It was also have been told that their job at the end of the day, or even layoffs, were also done by the end of the day. She added that the layoffs felt like a betrayal of trust of the highest magnitude, and it feels that the company is now prioritizing shareholders over developers. Let me highlight this, right? Let me highlight this part right here. I speak about this all the time. Corporate world doesn't give a shit about you. And I'm not talking about you, the consumer. I'm talking about you, the employee. Right? She added that the layoffs felt like a betrayal of trust. Felt like a betrayal of trust of the highest magnitude. And it feels as if the company is now prioritizing shareholders over developers. Well, I hate to break it to you. They have always prioritized shareholders over developers. Hence why Microsoft is a trillion dollar company. Okay. They don't care about you, number 745 that works in the Xbox division of the ZeniMax they picked up 4 years ago. You're just a number. They write a big check to ZeniMax. Here it is. And then that check gets sent out to everybody else and they keep working. Okay. That's how it is. Sorry. Hate to pull back the curtain on you. Another person who wasn't scared to speak out, even if they're still employed by ZeniMax, is senior QA tester Autumn Mitchell, who talks about the lack of communication from Microsoft. It's not okay. Quote, it's not okay. It's not okay. It wasn't normal. I don't care how many times they do it or try to make it seem normal. It's not. The way that they also, it's inhumane. I don't care how much they say that it's dignified or if they want to do it in a respectful way. It's not. 100%. I agree with this 100%. They don't care. Again, they don't care about you. Now, to say it's not normal, I would assume that certain things are different. Like if you're firing someone on a normal basis because someone complained about them or they're disgruntled or they came in late or something like that and you're firing them, they probably go about it a different way. But when the corporate office says you need to get rid of everybody, there's a quote from Fifth Element, and there's a scene where the assistant goes up to Zorg, and Zorg, right, says, sir, we have to fire 500,000 people, okay? He says, I was thinking some of the smaller companies or the smaller divisions, and he says, no, make it 1 million. And the guy's like, okay, and he walks away, right? That is corporate office. That is the world of business. That is the world of tech. When they do massive layoffs, they don't want to look you in the eye. They don't want to know who your name is or anything like that. They just fire you. Shit goes down. They go to Ted. Ted is the owner of 6,000 people. He's like, you need to get rid of half your staff. And Ted has to walk his ass in there and go, okay, I'm going to close everybody out and then reevaluate it as I go. That's what happens. That is normal for massive layoffs. What she's talking about, it wasn't normal. And it says, I don't care how many times they say it to try to make it seem like it's normal. It's not. For individual firings, it's completely different than when you do mass layoffs. Both Branson and Mitchell have some choice words for Xbox boss Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond. Mitchell said that it feels like Xbox leadership is disconnected from the reality of life at the company. And I would also put it in the other way, right? They are detached from the reality of life. But the people working are also detached from the reality of business, right? It works both ways. Phil Spencer is the boss of Microsoft, but he has a boss. Sports athletes make millions of dollars. The owner of the company makes billions of dollars. He signs their check, right? That's what it is. They have bosses. They have bosses, and they have shareholders. Not only, but it also wants them to, same executives to start communicating with people in the production, stating, I would beg you, quote, I would beg you, I would not get on my knees and beg you right now to please talk to the people, ask them what this is like on the ground level before sending out a blast email that you do. They can't. They can't. They can't do that. Because if they have that connection, if they know who they're talking to, if they physically go up to Mitchell here, okay, and say, hey, Mitchell, I hate to tell you, we have to let you go. Then they start crying. Then they start doing all this other stuff. That's going to happen regardless, but they don't want to go face-to-face with you because they're human, and they don't want to deal with that. But the business entity doesn't care. The business entity is, you want to keep your job, you got to get rid of other people. It's what it is, right? So Branson, who has never interacted with any of the Xbox top brass, asks for humanity. Okay, these mass layoffs affect real people and real families and throw their lives into disarray. I wish for empathy. At the core of the messaging, I wish for people is to be empathetic and think about the human cost when it comes to all this, she said. Again, 100% on a human level. I used to fire people all the time. It sucked. But you have to do it, right? I won't be late. I'm sorry. I won't be late. Oh, I'll do my best next time. Well, we've already gave you 3 warnings and stuff like that. Sorry, you got to go. Fuck you, right? That's what happens. Mass layoffs. What do you think is going to happen? This is why they do what they do. This is why they turn off your stuff so you can't be revengeful, vindictive, any of that stuff. They close your card down so you can't get into certain areas. Why? Because they know people will go irate, right? So, yeah, people lose their jobs every day. Disarray happens in their lives every single day. It sucks, but that's it, right? It's hard to humanize the fellow employees if you're up to food chain. It seems as the Xbox executives even had a good idea to suggest that lay off the devs ask AI for their job advice of what to do next. Jesus Christ. They don't even have the balls to do it. They had to ask AI. Even had a good idea to suggest that layoff devs ask AI for job advice. It seems that we haven't heard the last of these Xbox layoffs and the people who are also affected. So don't be surprised to hear more horror stories, okay, that surface. Don't be surprised if another round of layoffs happens again. And a new report recently surfaced that mentions that Xbox internal targets aren't really realistic. Well, most businesses are, because as we said on GXG, profits have to keep rising. The profit salute, okay, where if the number's not doing this, then it's not doing right. You know, it sucks. It sucks that this happens to happen to everybody across the board, not just developers in, hundreds of thousands of people working for a company. It happens at the local sub shack. It happens at your local supermarket store. People get fired. People's lives go in disarray. And this is why I tell you all the time, don't work for the people, work for yourself. And I don't mean work for yourself as start your own business. What I'm saying is do the best job that you can do. You can't help or change the things that are happening, okay? Because they're going to happen, and you can't get mad at it and try to fix it because it's not going to happen. It's like a bad breakup, okay? You're never going to go back and be like, oh, yeah, ZeniMax is hiring me again, right? The only way you go back is if ZeniMax hires you again, and now you're a contract worker, and you're making more money but with no benefits, okay? You would take that because you're out of work, and they know you would take it, but now you're disgruntled, and you're working there, right? So that's the only way you would go back. Otherwise, you would look for other jobs. And you have to do the best job you can because there will be a time when you get fired, and it's you or the guy next to you. And even though the guy next to you or the girl next to you is your best friend and you have beers with them after work, there will be a time that one day layoffs are going to happen. Who's getting laid off, me or you? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me scroll back up. That's brutal. And I know people watch this and see this or just tuned in and they're like, this guy's fucking heartless. It's because this is what happens. This is reality. There's no hug rooms. There's no hug rooms. You don't get to stop and hug a teddy bear when you're working for a corporation. You're a gear. You're a cog in the wheel. Let's see here. Argus says, These fools work in one of the most volatile public-facing industries in the United States. Gaming has been this way for a while. People are always going to get fired in batches, especially between titles and projects. Ray says if you're well paid at least 3 years at Microsoft, it doesn't have a safety net. It's a you problem. Let me read that again. If you are well paid for at least 3 years at Microsoft and it doesn't have a safety net, it's a you problem. I see what you're saying. Right. If you haven't saved up your money from the money that you had and putting a little bit aside for a rainy day, it is a you problem. Sarge says all the life and test is your ability to deal with the reality. You are not traumatized by going to work. If that is the traumatizing, then just go ahead and move to the woods. Yeah. Being traumatized, I don't know if they were actually traumatized. I mean, I get it. Like, you're traumatized if you break up with somebody and they start freaking out. Be like, what am I going to do? I'm 30 years old now and I don't know what to do with my life. Like, there's that moment. There's that initial reaction of what happens. But it'll be fine. Because there's other jobs out there. There's other things out there. There's other things you do. Unless you have no confidence in yourself into what you're doing. Robert Jones says, wait, Microsoft isn't family? No, it's not Vin Diesel and Fast and Furious. They told me we were family. Mo says she's QA. This is why she said her name. They are union. Otherwise, she would also be anonymous as well. Perhaps. Not me, Mo. If I was union or non-union, I would say, yeah, go ahead and put my name. No, it's spelled with a, yeah, I would say exactly how it is. Take the repercussions afterwards. Your action or your actions have consequences. Last and first out, we will keep the guy we like the best regardless of work ethic. Yeah. But at least, Jones, when you do your job, you know you did the best that you did, right? If I keep my job, I'm like, well, they like me better because I work harder than him. If they didn't keep me, I'm like, well, I didn't do a good job. Or someone did better than me. And then approve on that. Eclipse says, yeah, I lost my job 4 years ago. Luckily, I had a safety net for a little bit. Now I'm back on track. That's it. Speed bump. Right? Everyone will be there at some point. There will always be a low point for you in your life. Early on in life, like you get broken up by a boyfriend or girlfriend and you think the world is over and you're like, oh, my God, it's never going to get better than that. My life is over. And then there's going to be where your family life, that you lose your job. You're like, oh, my God, I have a mortgage. I have a house. I have a car to pay. And then guess what? When you're backed up against the corner and you have shit to think about and you have to do something, you do it. You do it. You know why? Because you got to. Right? You might be a grandstand musician, right? Best of all time. And all of a sudden you'll have a low point in your life. And now you're on the side of the road begging for money. But because you're begging for money, you're going to get back on your feet because you have drive, right? Your actions have consequences. And what you do with what you're dealt with is the scenario, is what you do. Robert Jones says work ethic matters, but politics trump it, I think. Trump it, I think. Oh, politics trump it. You put Trump behind politics. I didn't know where you were going with that. You're saying work ethic matters, but politics trump it, I think. Got it. There's always a work politics. Yeah, there's always work politics. Here's the thing that happens in the film industry all the time, right? Here's the thing that happens in the film industry all the time. So let's say I brand new on a show. We're just getting to know the staff, right? I'm just getting to know the director, the producer, the camera op, the PA, the grip, right? At the end of the show, everyone's like, hey, we're going to the bar. You want to come? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then we sit there and they start drinking, right? You don't drink, right? Or you don't socialize very well. You don't know the people. You're kind of in an awkward state, right? Then the next day, they're joking around with each other because they've bonded over something. They've bonded over a cigarette. They've bonded over coffee. They've bonded over drinks. They bonded over jokes, right? So now in that little group, it's political, right? Politics. Not the politics of politics, but the politics of, well, this guy's cool. He had a drink with me. Hey, he's joking around. I can get along with this person, right? That's what happens in that social experiment. And then the next job you get, they're like, hey, I'm gonna bring you along because you were cool. Not that guy. He didn't drink. Don't talk around him, right? That's what happens. Slowly but surely, that's what happens. Ray says, I already gone from $35 to $12 an hour. Work is work. That's it. Just keep going. There's like five meaning going on with that sentence. That's a nice play on words. Yeah. I was like, where's he going? I thought originally when I read it, like in my head before I said it out loud, I was like, are people blaming Trump or politics for them getting fired? I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. I was like, where is he going with this? All right, we got the Splitgate stuff down. We did all that. Let's go to Twitter. Let's see what's happening over here. Why does it say I have a message when I don't have a message? Do I have to click on it? What's happening here? I don't know what's happening there. June 2025 Nintendo Switch was the number one console. Mario Kart World number 3. Well, did they think that PlayStation and Xbox are going to be number one consoles sold? Of course the new system is going to be the number one console sold. What's going on, Altern? Let's see what else is going on. Oh, you guys sent me something in Discord. Let me see what you guys sent. U.S. Nuclear Weapon Agency reportedly breached in Microsoft SharePoint attacks. Nice. Pre-orders to open of the Atari 2600 plus Pac-Man collection. What the hell? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why is it that, I don't know, what is it, once every 2 years or so? Like Atari comes out, they have like a hotel, they're coming out with a new futuristic box, they're doing all this other shit. Like, who is buying this? Who is buying this? A collector. Someone with nostalgia. Did he even make the system? Double feature cartridge. Holy shit. Gotta go out and get this. Why? Oh, look at the games you guys can get. Pre-order. Galaga. Dig Dug. $434 for all of that. $274 for the stick, the controller, and 4 games. Amazing. Amazing. Do my real cartridges still work from the original? Because I have all these games. I have all these games. This $200 box runs on a $2 chip. Like what? What's happening? So Game Informer has the article of Outer Worlds 2. Roic says, as they're saying, please buy this. We know we could play this on any phone for free, but please buy our stuff. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. So we heard your backlash. Obsidian drops the Outer Worlds 2 price to $69.99. Well, let me tell you something. If you don't want to pay $69.99, don't. And guess what? The $69.99 will go down to $59.99. And when it's not $59.99, it'll go down to $49.99. Okay? Because the video games don't need to be $80. And obviously, they know that. Okay? So this summer, Outer Worlds 2 was Xbox's big holiday item, getting a dedicated showcase after the rest of the company's lineup trailers and reveals, to the shock of many, that Outer Worlds 2's price is at whopping $79.99. In the U.S., matching Mario Kart World's controversial precedents, as of today, Xbox Obsidian are changing course and have decided to revert to Outer Worlds 2 price back in the industry standard. The industry standard should have been $60. Okay? I would go down to $60. I would even go down to $50 because that seems like that's the new sweet spot that everyone wants to play, right? Expedition, Pal World, Helldivers, like 50 below, $40, $50, and this would fly off the shelves. But see, they would rather sell 1 million copies at $70 than 3 million copies at $50. You see what I'm saying? So on social media, Obsidian shared the news. That tone of sci-fi series is known for complete with illustration of Moon Man scribbling out of old price and write a new one. The testament reads as follows. Or the statement, the testament. I'm okay. The statement reads as follows. Dear galactic citizens, we have received an SOS via a skip drone about the pricing. As an organization devoted to making sure that the corporations do not go for unfettered, we are also Earth Directory, have worked with Redacted to revise the price of Outer Worlds 2. While this is not the price, this is not to bring peace of the galaxy or even the local colony. It ensures that we all have what we're here to fight for in all the colonies in every way that we can. From the office of the director of the Earth. Okay, so if you're already pre-ordered the game as a higher price, there's still time to get your money back. Wait a minute. If you pre-ordered the game right now at $80, they're not going to honor it at $70. You have to return it and then buy it again. It's not even out yet. Just refund $10. These fuckers would keep the money. They would 100% keep the money. According to the statement from Xbox and Windows Central, some retailers will accept refunds today, while others will start tomorrow, allowing customers to swap out their old pre-order for their new one at the lower price. Another reason not to pre-order. Outer Worlds 2 is set to launch on October 29th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S, X, and PC. And for the hands-on impressions of the game, check out Game Informer. There you go. Yeah, it's not worth $69.99. It's not worth $69.99. The first game, $50. $50 would be a starting price, and then wait for it to go on sale. Clip says if it was $100, I can play all the old games I have. I would definitely get it. Well, don't they sell? I mean, you could probably find an old version of it to play. Or, Robic says, or I could play it on Game Pass and not pay anything. It's true. Which they really want you to do. Look at Outer Worlds 2 when it becomes an epic freebies. Altern says it's still too much for this game. $60 I think is okay. El Dente says the shit AAA games are all $80 and good ones seem to be $50. Yeah, it's like backwards. Till holiday. Oh, you're saying, yeah, they're lowering this price until the next game comes out for the holiday. Then it'll go back to 80. Well, not this game, but their next game. Ray says $70 is like 10 or 20 games on Steam. Altern says, or I can Jack Sparrow away and not pay until the game is at a reasonable price. It's true. Very true. Hey, everyone, you guys do you. You do you. I just think it's ridiculous sometimes what people think. They're like, well, the games have to be $80. It's just there's so much stuff going on in the background. But then they go to the store and they're like, $8 for eggs. $8 for eggs? They're out of their mind. Video game? Oh, well, that's a good price. I mean, I would pay $100 and $120 for this game. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Tomorrow, Battlefield 6 receives a new trailer. Ooh. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. Let's see what else is going on. What is this new Tesla diner that's happening here? The diner of the future. The diner of the future. What? Electric cars charging and people on roller skates? It's called Sonic. It's called a 50s diner. Like, what? Jesus Christ. I don't know what's happening anymore, chat. This is the thing. This is the thing. It's a new diner. It's a diner where you could charge all of your electric cars here. Obviously, you don't have to have an electric car here, but you can park there. Sit here, and there's two giant screens that you can watch movies. So I'll tell you what, this is actually a better concept than the actual movie theater itself because they don't show the movie screens. But there's two movie screens over here, and people can watch the movie screens while they're sitting at the place or sitting inside your car. So while you're sitting in your car, you can watch a movie. So it's like a drive-in movie theater and a diner. I mean, I guess. Sure. Sarge says, hey, bro, describe the Battlefield trailer. You know what they're going to do and show. Let us run through it. Yeah? Okay. Well, I'll let you know what they're going to do. They'll do the battle. Dun 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 dun. Right. So that they'll have the Battlefield music, and they'll do all the shit they did. What was it back in Battlefield 5? Were they doing all this stuff, or was that Battlefield 2042? I forget what it was. They'll tell you that we're bringing it back. We're going back to its roots. We're bringing back Battlefield better than ever before, and we're so excited to tell you and can't wait to show you what we have in store for Battlefield 6. Right, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, you're going to have Battlefield moments, 100%. Roic says, people say there is so much to do to make a game, but with all the tools to help them make games at their disposal, it's hard to justify the argument since they mess it up anyway. Well, can't you say that about anything, Roic? It's really hard to build a house. It's really hard to build a car. It's really hard to make a movie. It's really hard to make a video game. If there was only ways to help me build a house, to make a car, to make a movie, to make a video game, right? Altern says a drive-by movie, dinner, recharge station, nothing more America than that. Well, isn't it funny that make the problem, sell the solution, right? Your electric car needs to get charged, right? You need gas, right? But gas is real fast. You click it, you pour it in, you drive off. Electric, you got to sit. You got to wait. You got to sit there for a bit. Oh, and while you're here, we just so happen to have this diner behind you, and you can watch a movie, and you can sit there, and you can sit in your car, and you can do all these things, right? They make you stop and do what you do. So for the rest of the day, you're like, I gotta go gas. I gotta go charge up my car. So instead of just going to the gas station, filling up in 5 minutes and coming back, now you got to sit there for 45 minutes to an hour. Take your lunch. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Krebsy says they're going to be handing out tornadoes like Oprah. You get a tornado. You get a tornado. You get a tornado. You think they're actually going to put? Do you think they're going to put weather inside this game like they did in the last ones? Do you think they're going to put Levolution back into Battlefield? Are they going to go back to its roots, or are they going to remove some of the roots? PlayStation has announced several new features as part of its latest beta firmware update, including the ability to reduce games' performance in order to conserve power. What else we got? See, now Outer Worlds moving their price from 80 to 70 just got a crap ton of goodwill from people. Crap ton of people. They're like, oh my God, see, they're listening to us. Make the problem, make the solution. They don't want to pay $80. Well, let's make it 70. See, they're listening. Oh, I'm going to pay 70. People don't understand that they have the power to make things cheaper, but they don't want to. Because I want it now. Yeah, but if they don't buy it, if we don't buy it, Krebsy, it won't go to 80. But people keep buying it, so they're going to do it. Yeah. Fake Wizard says right here, can't wait to see the players engage cope numbers since the game still ain't selling at $70. It's just stupid. Sorry, I'm just reading some other people's comments. Just like Halo and Forza Reboot, they removed features instead of going back to its roots. More dev time, worse graphics and features. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Battlefield 6 tomorrow, right? Tomorrow it comes out. Just like they did with Borderlands 4, they just went the extra step and actually put it on Steam for $80. Oh wait, it's on Steam for $80? Is that true? Is Borderlands 4 $80 on Steam, but $70 everywhere else? Eclipse says, I see a lot of people playing Mario Kart. Oh yeah, for 100%, there's a lot of people playing Mario Kart because they'll buy whatever. They're like, it's $90. Like, okay. $100, okay. They don't care. FOMO gets a lot of people, so they're willing to pay whatever. 100%. 100%. Oh, no, Outer Worlds 2 was $80 on Steam. Gotcha. I thought for a second, I was like, wait a minute. They had it for 70 and it had it 80 on Steam? It's at 11 a.m. tomorrow? Thanks, Cubsy. 11 a.m., that's fine. That's Thursday, right? Yeah, we're good. Well, wait, is that 11 a.m. my time? Or is that 11 a.m. like Pacific? Eastern, okay. So I made a video, right? I made a video of why I don't like Pedro Pascal, right? And one of my points in that video is that it's because of social media. So here you go, right? IGN, 1 hour ago, put an article up about Pedro Pascal reveals the one thing that left him appalled about his Wonder Woman 1984 role, his lack of facial hair. Wonder Woman came out, what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? And social media is one of the reasons that we don't like Pedro Pascal right now. Not because he's a bad actor, okay? Because no matter what you do or where you go, you see his face. You see his face. Right? And I said it in my video. I said, social media pushes them so hard, and it's not just the media outlets talking about that person anymore. It's other people, and they constantly post pictures or an article or a video or whatever it is, and that's why we have fatigue over stuff. And that's not just with actors. This is why we have fatigue with Marvel. This is why we have fatigue with Star Wars. This is why we have fatigue with a lot of different things, because we're bombarded with the same stuff over and over every single day. Doesn't matter if you go to YouTube. Doesn't matter if you go to Twitter. Doesn't matter if you go to Facebook or whatever it is. You're always getting bombarded. Ray says Nintendo fans are minimum 30, so they can buy those games, but from 15 to 25, they are not. It's also a good position to buy these. Yeah, well, young people don't have money. More young people have money, but the clientele doesn't have the money. So they have to rely on mom and dad. PlayStation DualSense wireless controller 30th anniversary now up on PlayStation Direct US for all users, $80. So if you guys are looking to, I know a lot of you guys look for that type of stuff. If you're looking for a PlayStation controller, there you go, Sony PlayStation. So Warrior64 has a tweet about it. So anybody looking for that, because I know some of you guys wanted that anniversary skin or whatever. So there you go. All right, let me see what else we got going on. Nothing else looks like it's happening over on Twitter. Got the gamepad, Razer Kinsu all-button arcade controller. These things are coming back in a big way, huh? Sony's making one. Razer's making one. Interesting. It's a long 30th anniversary year. I mean, there you go. You got to get it when you can. Oh, if you guys are interested in RoboCop, Rogue City, Unfinished Business, if you get it for console, right now I'm playing it on Xbox. I'm playing on the Xbox Series X, and there's a lot of choppiness going on. So if you're looking to pick it up, I would wait. I would wait to pick it up. It's only $30, but $30 is still, like, it still hitches. So don't pick it up until they patch it. Once the patch goes through or whatever that does to hopefully fix it. But it gets really annoying. As you walk through and there's, like, nothing going on the screen, you're just walking, you'll all of a sudden have the, like, it stops and pauses. And it's like, I'm not playing it on PC, right? There's not things running in the background. It's just the console. So on console, I don't know if it is like that for PlayStation, but on Xbox Series X, it's a little bit stuttery. So make sure you wait for a patch before you pick it up if you're going to pick it up. Nintendo Switch 2 sold 1.6 million units in June in the U.S. as hardware sales rose 249% from what, last year? Is that what you're giving a stat on Inside Gaming? Of course they're going to sell more this year than last year. On the back of the launch of Switch 2, the video game hardware sales rose 249% month over month. Oh, okay, month over month. For June, the sales figures of $948 million in total. Success of the console also brought overall year-to-date numbers up 17% after being down 26% as of May. $948 million in spending is a record high for the month of June, passing $608 million in spending in 2008. As far as other video game hardware is concerned, the PlayStation 5 is still the best-selling console in the U.S. in terms of both units and dollars. Regarding the accessories in June, saw sales jump 29% year over year, $293 million. Another June record that increased was in large part thanks to the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which saw a 32% attach rate to Nintendo Switch 2 sales, right? Make a problem, sell a solution. The controllers for the Joy-Cons are so goddamn small, adults have to buy the Pro controller because they don't want to use the small controllers. Smart business decision. All right. I think that's going to do it for me. We'll be back tonight with Sarge. We'll be shooting this shit with Sarge. I don't know what we'll be playing, but we're going to be playing something. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't gone over. You can also become a member as little as $5. Make sure you check out some of our other videos on this channel on 30NSG, or go over to Nerding with 30. We got some videos over there. I'm working on other scripted videos that hopefully will be up by this weekend and whatnot. So I do appreciate you very much. Also, check out our album over on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Google. But no, not Google. Yeah, Google Play, right? Google Play, Pandora, iHeart, all those other ones, right? Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixel small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty, tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming always. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Laughs and news, our winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain